Good morning, Prep 3 students. Today we're talking about Unit 12, Lessons 2 and 3, and the title of the unit is I Asked Him If. By the end of this video, students will learn how to practice using linkers for writing an article, how to practice using some phrasal verbs, passive, past simple, and past perfect, and how to practice using the reported speech. So now let's get started. I want you all to open page 102. We have here some headlines and we're going to discuss their meanings. Let's move to page 103 to discuss the meanings of the headlines in 102. So, for the first exercise, exercise 4, we're going to use some phrasal verbs to complete the gaps. For number 1, they said here, they accidentally ran over the old man. Ran over means to drive over someone, to hit someone. Number 2, it took firefighters 3 hours to the fire. And we're going to write to put out the fire, which means to stop or overcome the fire. Number 3, the concert has been called off, and called off here means to be cancelled. Number 4, no one can hold up the shop assistant, and hold up means to rob or disturb, because she has a guard, which is a dog. Luckily, the boom didn't go off, and go off means to destroy. The boom didn't destroy the place. Number 6, thieves broke into the house late last night but were caught by police. So broke into means to enter something illegally, usually to commit a crime. So the robbers wanted to enter the house illegally and to steal the money from it. Now let's move to exercise number 6. I want you all to do the matching, and after you do the matching, we're going to discuss the meanings of the word. So number 1, global warming. Global warming means that people cause the weather to become hotter. Number 1, crime scene. Crime scene means the location of the crime, the place where the crime was committed. Number 2, climate change. Climate change means the weather is changing quickly. Number 4 or number 3, the exchange rate. It means something related to money and finance. So, for example, the 114 Japanese yen equals 1 American dollar. So this is the exchange rate of the Japanese yen to the dollar. Number 4, bank robbery, which means that some people try to steal money from the bank. Plane crash, which means the plane has an accident. Eyewitness report. It means that the person who saw the crime is going to say what he has seen. Now let's move to the grammar section, and we're going to start with the report speech. Firstly, we are going to talk about the usage of it. Report speech is when we tell someone what another person said. For today, we're going to report questions, and you know that we have 2 types of questions, yes/no questions and WH questions. Yes/no question examples like, are you Saudi? Do you like spaghetti? Can you swim? Every time I'm asked a question like are or do or can, I'm going to answer saying yes or no. For example, are you Saudi? Yes I am, or no I'm not. So every time I'm asked a question starting with are or do or can, I'm going to respond saying yes or no. So we call it yes/no question. WH questions are questions like when do you study? What's your favorite subject? Where do you like to travel? So every time I'm answering those questions, I'm not going to say yes or no, so we call them WH questions, because we're going to respond using one full sentence, like where do you like to travel? I like to travel to Egypt. It's a sentence without yes or no. So now, let's move to how to report yes/no questions. The reporting verb can be asked or wanted to know. For rule number 1. Rule number 2, the reported question starts with if or whether. For example, are you going to get married? So, when I'm reporting this statement, I'm going to say, I asked him whether he was going to get married. Another example, is he a good chef? When I report it, I'm going to say, I wanted to know if the chef was good. Another example, does he play basketball? Asked Khalid. So we say, Khalid asked if he played basketball. Now let's move to reporting WH questions. For the WH questions, the questions start with the question words. For example, who the chef is? Asked James. So we say, so when I'm reporting this question, I'm gonna say, James wanted to know who the chef was. So as you notice here, who, which is a question word starting in this question, the direct question, I write it here in the reported question. Question tags. The definition of question tags. It is a short phrase that is added to the end of the statement to turn it into a yes/no question. For example, he plays tennis. As you notice here, I have here a normal sentence, which we call active. It has a subject, a verb, and an object. It is a statement, it's not a question. How can I make it a question? I'm going to add a comma, and then I'm going to write, doesn't he? So the whole statement or the question tag is gonna be, he plays tennis, doesn't he? Okay, now let's move for rule number 1. For positive statements, the tag is negative. For example, you have finished your article, haven't you? So as you notice here, the statement is positive. I have no negative words here, and I'm going to write the tag in a negative way. Rule number 2. For negatives, the tag is positive. For example, you didn't believe him, did you? As you notice here, I have here a negative statement, so I'm going to write the question tag in the positive way. The past simple passive. It is something was done by someone at some time in the past. We're going to start with the object, then was or were, and then the verb in the past participle. For example, Faisal watched TV. How can I form it into the passive voice? I'm gonna say, TV was watched by Faisal. Another example, they ate the sandwiches. So, the sandwiches were eaten by them. Now let's move to the last part, the present perfect passive. I'm gonna write the object, then has or have, plus been, and then the verb in the past participle. Usage. Something has been done by someone at some time up to now. For example, they have cleaned the room. So we say, the room has been cleaned by them. Another example, they have cancelled the matches. So the answer, the matches have been cancelled by them. That's the end. Thanks for careful watching.